Guys, yeah, I feel like everyone has that one horrible colleague. That one person that is hell on earth. And you know what, yeah, in my case, it was this manager that I had. She was so bad that the higher-ups resulted in taking her name off every single rota. Because they realised that every time her name was on the rota, people would call in sick. We all had diarrhea. We had COVID before COVID was a thing. We were just saying, yeah, we're sneezing, we're coughing, we're spreading. We just didn't want to come to work. And when I first started at this hospital, I was like, oh, it's never that serious. Guys, I had one little altercation with her. It is serious. I questioned whether I wanted to stay a nurse because I thought, if I swing, it's not that deep if I'm not a nurse. That's how bad she was. I was thinking, if I swing right now, it's not that deep. I don't mind. What's 3 years? What's 3 years in university of tears, sadness and hell just for one swing?
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Okay, real talk. So is anyone else about to snap and just quit everything? Like, I cannot be the only one who is ready to flip a table over, burn it all down, and just start fresh, right? I can't be the only one who's like this right now.
Micromanagers will ruin your damn life, so these are more things that my micromanager did before I quit. She wanted CC'd on every email I sent, and like I said, I was a project manager, so I was sending a lot of emails to team leads and other managers, and also I was only 2 years post-grad at this point, so I was trying to, establish some credibility. I was one of the youngest people there, and I looked like a little bitch who had to CC her mom on everything for help. And so I would just stop doing it, and she called me out every single time. I was like, CC me on that email. The job I had before was very much like, get your work done, and other than that, they didn't care. I mean, they were paying us to be there full time, so they expected us to be there 8 hours, but the exact 8 hours didn't really matter. Right when I started, she told me my core hours were 7:30 to 4:30. I'd never even heard that, core hours, but I was like, okay, bet. I mean, I can do that. Sometimes traffic was later, so I would get there at 7:15. I would leave at 4:15. Or if traffic was bad and I got there at 7:40, I would stay until 4:40. One day she sent me an email and said we needed to discuss my core hours. I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, I've noticed that some days you leave by 4:15. It doesn't matter if you come in early, you have to stay until 4:30. She was fully remote, so how did she know that? Now we're gonna get to some of the alleged things that she was doing that my team had talked about. We had a badge in and out at the office, like literally every single time we came in and out, whether it's for lunch or just like checking in, and they said it was for security, but people had warned me that she was checking our badge swipes and seeing when we were coming and going. There was also cameras that people claimed weren't just for security. Holy shit, that was bad. First time I ever bonded with a coworker over some of her tendencies was on a Teams call, and he warned me and said, yeah, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that she reads our messages, so I've been waiting to talk to you about this when we were on the phone. I could really keep going, but you'll never regret leaving a toxic manager.
What are the qualifications for somebody to become a manager? Because it seems like the bar is so low that it's in hell. As a manager, why are you rude? Why do you have no people skills? Why are you snapping at the assistant manager to keep moving? The assistant manager you're physically snapping at, not even metaphorically, like physically. But it's just like, wow. These are the people in positions of power, right? Isn't that how it always goes? And as a manager, how do you not have any team building skills? If you want to get something done in the store, you should encourage people, make people want to do their job, Except, no, like, you're making them hate their job more. Like, what is going on? What is going on in the House of Commons? Because not even I know.
All right, before I continue to tell you about another annoying thing at my job that I just left yesterday, I just want to put it out there that the company was actually a phenomenal company to work for. The company was great, and I would highly suggest it because it really was good. It was a good job. It was just bad management. So those managers that have to hate somebody? Like, they have to bully one person to make their day go by quicker, I guess. When I started there, they already had the one girl that they hated, and they messed with her every day. It was 2 managers. They messed with her every day. Every day they complained about her. And then she ended up switching stores. And all was well for about a week until they sided in on another girl. And now all of a sudden that girl was too loud, always late all the time, obnoxious, not good for the store. When before, there was nothing wrong with that girl. But now they needed somebody new to hate together. Like I said, it was 2 managers. So that girl ended up getting fired. And all was well for about a week. Until, I guess they were just bored and I became the next one to hate. Now, like I mentioned, I really liked working for that company. It was an amazing company to work for. I am not political. In fact, if you fuck with me, I'm most likely just to walk out. Like, first time you fuck with me and I see the pattern coming, I'm gonna leave. But I decided that I really liked this place and I was gonna be political. And I did the political things. I went to the right people. I went to upper management. I did all the correct things. And it started with like, okay, I wore henna all the time when I first worked there. And then the other day I walked in, is that henna on your hand? Yes, like I always do. What is it, like permanent? What are you, like stupid? Like the fuck? No, it's not permanent. It'll eventually wash off. Yeah, but is it gonna like go into the customer's drinks? Do you want me to fucking cut my skin off right now? Is that what you want me to do? Like you want me to fucking take a cheese grater to my skin and get the henna off? God. So it's not gonna flake off into the customer's drinks. And they knew I couldn't hear very well there, and they would say stuff. Did you hear me? No. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not being rude. I legitimately can't hear you. And then I think the other issue was that I didn't smile, or like I wasn't peppy. But the fact is that I was peppy, and they thought that it was great when I first started. I'm happy, ready to go. I'm here early. Sit down, drink my coffee, and then I'll be ready to go on time. But then they killed it. Like, they killed the peppy, and then it was like, why aren't you peppy anymore? Like, this is a toxic relationship, bro.
One thing I dislike is a lower level manager acting a fool when a big manager come around. And I'm talking about the big manager that be in all the time, but like, they be leaving every once in a while, or they schedule switch up, looking at me talking about that's not how we do it. That was exactly how we was doing it yesterday before so-and-so got off vacation. And don't make me tell her.
I think the biggest perk of growing up and getting older is that I'm no longer a high schooler working a minimum wage customer service job where my manager just hates me. I genuinely think a good chunk of them were just mad at me for the crime of being young. Every manager I've ever had in a customer service setting has always been so incredibly angry all of the time. They always want to make it your problem that they chose a career where 90% of their coworkers are 17 at most. I would get texts that would be like, you need to cover this shift because I've already worked 50 hours this week. This is your career. I'm a high schooler trying to make enough money to buy an eighth. I worked at a Fantastic Sam's once, and the manager heard that I was getting into business, and he said, my number one piece of advice for you is to become a franchise manager. That man was trying to ruin my life.
So I'm sitting here minding my black business, working on Teams, and you guys know sometimes somebody will message you on Teams, you'll get the notification. A lot of the times I roll my eyes, finish writing my email, and then obviously I get to it. Not even 30 seconds later, the person who just Teams me is calling me. That is not work from home remote day courtesy at all. What are you doing? It has been 30 seconds. No, there's nothing that urgent. There's no emergency that needs to be answered that quickly at all. So I then go to her message and she tells me, oh, I have this person on the line and they want to know if you can process this job. Yeah, okay, no problem. I send my message. Then I'm like, and it's still ringing because I can still, whatever. Her call is still ringing, so I hit answer. Answer, it connects, and she hangs up on me. So then I tell her, okay, yeah, I can go and process the job. I go and I look the job up and she has it locked. I tell her she has it locked. Okay. 5 minutes pass by. She's still not responded. The job is still locked. Why were you so urgent to get a hold of me within those 30 seconds? Now, am I wrong to call her back?
As a waitress, I go to work sick. And your manager will tell you, like, oh, don't come to work sick. We really care about your health. They're lying. If you call out every single time that you're sick, which I'm sick right now, which is why I sound like this, everybody hates you. The queen of call-outs, oh my God, she's always calling you. That's why you want to show up to work sick and hope they send you home. Proof. And they don't really want you to call out, okay? Honestly, God, you could be at work and I could get shot with a gun and my manager would be like, table 8 hasn't been greeted yet. I'd be like, oh, okay. Like in high school, I used to work at this place in the Massachusetts Turnpike called Papagino's/D'Angelo's. My manager would always say, it's my way or the highway, and you're lucky because we're on the highway. But even there, I remember one time I went into work and told them I had pink eye. I didn't have pink eye. I actually had smoked a bowl right before, and then I put eye drops in one eye, and I walked in and I was like, hey, pink eye. And they were like, okay, well, you're working on the grill today. And then I was just like pretending to have pink eye, but also like insanely high. So I was just kind of like, you literally could be patient zero for the next pandemic, and your manager would be like, Just make sure to wash your hands. Keep up the good work.
So I found out that my boss has been talking a lot of crap about me at my workplace to other coworkers. Okay, this comes after the fact that I put laxatives in my lunch to catch the person who was at my job stealing my lunch all the time. Okay, I caught him because it's not cool to steal lunch from somebody that you work with. He no longer works there. So I thought it was going to be a done deal until I was missing from a meeting and people who attended, who I'm kind of close with, told me, hey, the boss has been saying some pretty wild stuff about you on these Zoom calls. And now I'm scheduled on Monday at 9 a.m. to get on a one-on-one meeting with my boss. And I'm trying to figure out, should I confront him? Should I say something? Should I tell him that I know he's been talking crap? Because I don't want to lose my job. And this is kind of a weird power dynamic at this point, knowing that he's not speaking fondly of me and that a performance review is coming up. There's also a meeting at 9:30 right afterwards where the entire company is going to be on. So I first am getting on a one-on-one meeting with him at 9, and then at 9:30, we're getting on this call. So my question is, what do I do? What do I say? If you knew your boss was talking badly about you, what would you do in this situation? And should I just film it so you guys can see how it goes? Because I don't care. At this point, it feels like I might not have this job for that much longer. So what would you do? See me Monday at 9, 9:30, 10. I don't know. Post it in the morning, Eastern time.
Nothing pisses me off more than somebody who overdelegates tasks and somebody who micromanages. And I have somebody who does both. And it is so hard. It is so hard not to. I have bills. If you see that something needs to be done and you go so far as to almost do it and then decide I'm not going to do it, I'm going to send a message and have them do it, you're the worst kind of person. And I stand by that. I have a manager who we can see each other's DocuSigns. Everybody in our department can see each other's DocuSigns. So anytime you've sent a document off, I can go into your DocuSign and download it and get it uploaded to where it needs to be, instead of waiting around for you to do it or waiting for you to send it to me or whatever the case may be. So you went all the way into DocuSign looking for a document, found it, and it was a document you needed. You went all the way into my DocuSign, found the document, and instead of downloading it and uploading it where you needed it to be, you Teams me and asked me to do it. And then you have the nerve to micromanage it.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
So my manager's been in a group chat talking about me, and I don't know how to feel, but let me just tell you what happened. So I work at a retail clothing store. It's a store here that sells like trendy clothes, and it was getting close to the end of the shift. So I asked my manager if she could show me the schedule for the next week, and she was like, yeah, come here. So she set down her phone on the counter, and I was just there like leaning, like low-key minding my business. I wasn't all in her phone, but she was like scrolling through the text thread, like looking for the schedule. She was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and like on one of the times that she scrolled, it stopped, and it was a picture of me wearing my Halloween costume from like 2 years ago. I was a cat, I had a tail. I pretended I didn't see it, and she like freaked out and just kept scrolling, but I didn't say anything because honestly, like, I don't know if I was like shocked or like unbothered. I really don't know what to say, but it was weird. It was in their group chat. It was in a group chat of people that I work with, and I only work with like 2 other people. What's the problem here? Anyway, so yeah, after that she was like really awkward because I feel like she had a feeling that I did see it, but I don't know for sure. And then we just closed the store, and now I know that they talk about me.
I had a manager from hell as well at my old job. So I worked at a warehouse from early October 2024 to last month. So about like 5 months or so. She would always, 1, overwork you, and 2, micromanage. She always was on you all the time. Like, bro, allow people to do their job. They know what to do. They have already been trained. They know what to do. Allow people to do their job. But no, but she was very controlling, literally, and nobody liked her. Nobody in that place liked her. Even the other supervisors and managers disliked her. Nobody liked her in the whole place because she was just on you all the time. Very annoying, very controlling. And she had a lot of complaints from about 16 people or so. And so her boss came and started to do a review on her. And I kid you not, she worked so hard that time. She worked the hardest that I have seen her work in that warehouse ever, just because her boss was there. And now, thank God, I am at a new job, and I absolutely love my new job. It is fantastic, great, phenomenal new job that I have. Thank God for this job.
I have a question for you guys. If you try to schedule a meeting with your boss or manager and they ask you to come in on your day off to have this meeting, is it wrong to decline that? Like, I had a discussion with my mom about it, and she thinks it's a generational thing because, I wanted to have a meeting with my manager, and she asked me to come in the next day on my day off to have the meeting, and I politely declined because I didn't want to spend the gas money to drive down there to have a 10-minute discussion when we can do that when I'm at work. And my mom kind of chastised me a little bit and was like, it's your guys' generation. If it was my generation, we would go down there. I just don't think I should be doing anything related to work off the clock or, not being compensated for it. That, like, my time is my time,
One thing that irks my fucking nerves with these so-called supervisors slash managers of whatever franchise or corporation that they oversee is the fact that y'all get off on just throwing y'all work on somebody else. It's not my responsibility. I don't get paid to be training nobody. I don't get paid for any of the other extra shit, the extra paperwork, the inventory. That's not my job. So let me tell y'all about my supervisor, because I'm not calling her manager. This bitch, right? It's a red zone, right? Y'all noticed the week the kids got off. So technically, we're not supposed to take off in the service industry world. So yesterday was pretty busy. Okay, fine. I was in the salon by myself until about 11. Okay, no problem. Sometimes I don't mind working by myself. The second stylist comes in at 11. She's fairly new to the floor. I don't have an issue with her. She's willing to learn. But you got a new hire coming to our location. So we got a new hire coming in today, right? Young girl, fresh out of beauty school, From what I can see, she's willing to learn as well. But you see, you never know. They get a little nervous, whatever. We'll see when she gets here. Why is it that the supervisor took off 3 days this week? Yesterday, today, and then tomorrow. Why? I'm not a trainee. I'm not here to train anybody on the floor. You're supposed to be overseeing these new hires until they're comfortable on the floor for you to be able to leave them by themselves. When I tell y'all, I'm up out of here.
Have you ever done something wrong at work and your boss or the company sends out this mass email to everybody about stopping doing this thing? Here's the problem with that. I posted a video about this recently, and a lot of people said that that was the kind thing to do. It was the professional thing to do, to email everybody and not single someone out. Here's the problem with that. When a boss does not show up for you and sit you down and have those difficult conversations, they're not doing their job. It is not okay to constantly send out generalized emails about something wrong that someone has done. And I will say this too, many of those times when things like that have happened, we all knew who the person was that did the thing. And so did the boss. So the issue here is not calling somebody out and embarrassing them. The issue is that it could have been handled if the bosses actually acted like leaders and knew anything about actually being in a leadership role and were willing to have those uncomfortable, difficult conversations, which is part of leadership. But too many of them don't want to do that. I have encountered many times when I have tried to move forward and have those difficult conversations with the bosses that did not want to have them, and that did not go well.
Hey Stella, thank you for the comment. So the question is, how do you deal with a manager that delegates everything and doesn't do any of the work? So first of all, the manager is supposed to delegate all the work and not do any employee work. So here's where the confusion comes in. Historically, organizations and managers tend to do employee work, and organizations tend to want managers to do employee work. Because if you think about it, these managers were promoted from individual contributors that were doing employee work. And what do? They just inherit the employee work and try to manage teams. But the reality, the way an effective manager operates, they should delegate the work effectively, manage the workflow, and set expectations and coach and mentor those individuals within that workflow. So now the question becomes, is your manager doing management work? If he or she is not, it's a whole different ballgame. So let me know in the comments whether or not your manager is not doing management work or is not doing employee work. Two different scenarios. So again, if you like this kind of content, please like, follow, and share this video.
I am going to make a series about me complaining about my boss, and if she ever finds this, she can fire me. Hi, hello. If you don't know me, I work at a movie theater restaurant. It's exactly the name. I'm a server. It's a restaurant and movie theater in one. So today, I was in a theater with 70 people, and at my job, you are required to have at least 40 that you can handle on your own with like help. But there was 2 of us in that theater, so whatever. Anyways, it was theater 70 people. Only 20 people showed up for the first part because we have a greet that's 30 minutes before the trailers, so it gives people a chance to have their food out in time for the movie, the whole thing. But a lot of people don't listen to that, and they'll show up during the trailers or after the trailers because they think it's a regular movie theater and it's fine. Now, if you're one of those people, we hate you. Sorry. Anyways, so those 55 people came during the trailers, and we are required to get those people greeted before the movie even starts. And no, I did not have all my people like greeted by the time the movie started, so I was greeting into the movie. And at the same time that we had our rush going, the theater next to us was playing Lord of the Rings that was sold out with 100 people. So it's after the movie started, we're having some help, we're all like running food to people, whatever. The guy who was in my theater with me, the other server, had to be in a different theater, like 20 minutes into the movie, and he was like, I'm sorry, it's just gotta be you. There was nothing he could do about it. Like, he didn't put himself in that theater. It was whoever did, honestly. So I'm like, oh, it's fine. I thought that it was the end of our rush. No, I was wrong, because there was that Lord of the Rings rush, so tickets got jumbled in with each other, stuff got behind. So, like, there's, like, trays and trays of food in my theater. There's buttons going off because how people get us during the movie is they hit a button, and that's how, like, you know, you're like, I want to refill or whatever. I was running food until after check drop, and we give everyone their checks 50 minutes before the movie ends. I had to drop checks, like, 30 minutes before the movie ended because there was just so much shit. So around that time, where it came to where I had to drop checks, one of the shift leads is like, Adara, do your triangles. And if you don't know, obviously you don't know what a triangle is. I'm gonna tell you what a triangle is. Triangle is when you greet someone, you go to the kitchen, you grab food for your theater, you go, you run it, and you repeat that. It's a triangle. It's literally a triangle. But in some cases, like when you're in a theater with 70 people by yourself, you can't do that. Especially when my theater, like when my server station, where we bring food, because you bring food to the server station, and you bring food from the server station to the people, that's how it works. But one of the shift leads was like, Dara, do your triangles. And I was like, not today. So I was like, I'm not gonna say names, but I was like, dude, I cannot do triangles. I am in a theater by myself. And he was like, hey, it's not me. He was like, it was our boss. Like, she's the one telling me. So, like, she got a little messenger owl to tell me what to do. And I was like, no. So I just kind of ignored it. I'm like bringing something in from whatever someone gave me, and I go in my server station and run food, right? Because there's 3 trays of food, and I had no help. I had help for maybe like 5 minutes, and then they went and helped other theaters. So it was mostly me, just me. And the shift lead stops me again, and he's like, no. He's like, go to the kitchen. And I snapped, my eyes immediately filled up, and I was like, I am in here by myself with no help at all. If she has a problem, she can come talk to me, because I am not doing that. And bless their hearts, they gave me help. They found everybody who had free hands and helped me out. But, like 3 minutes later, I guess he probably did go up and tell her what I said. So she came in my theater when there was 3 trays of full food, and she was like, Adara, I'm gonna need you to run your triangles. So I'm like, I'm not. No. So I was like, okay, well, it's a little hard, when I have 70 people by myself who showed up when the movie started. She like turned her head to look at like the little screen, because we have a screen that shows all the seats. That's how we see where buttons are. And she looked at the screen and just looks back at me and she goes, "Heard, just do your triangles, period," and starts to walk away. And I'm like, "You're not going anywhere, bitch." And I was like, I have been up there. I'm like, "But, you know, you're just so fucking blunt." Sorry. Because she literally said, she was like, "I haven't seen you up there all day." And there was at one point when our greet did start, I was talking to my coworker because he has a funny thing he likes to do with me, and he takes my water bottle and hides it, and I wanted my water because I was thirsty. And I was trying to ask him where it was, and she butted in and she was like, "Adara, can you go check to see if there's anything for Theater 3? Because I'm sure there is." And I'll have you know, I was just in the kitchen right before I asked him where my water was, and there wasn't nothing, because, may I add, there was only 15 people in our theater. Anyways, so she was like, "I haven't seen you up there all night." So I was like, "I have been up there, actually." I'm like, "But, again, I'm by myself." I'm like, "And I'm not getting any help, and I'm at max capacity right now. I cannot be going and grabbing trays right now." And all she did was she was just like, "Run your triangles." She was like a robot. She was like, "Run your triangles, run your triangles, run your triangles." And I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back there, grab a knife. Sorry, TikTok. I meant a plastic knife. I meant a toy knife. That's not real. Anyways, that's my rant. She's the type of person. No, nobody likes her. I was having this conversation with my boyfriend like a couple days ago, because he was like, "Oh, she's growing on me," and I was like, honestly, same. Like, she's being nice, she's being cool. No. Have you ever met those narcissistic people that like pretend to be nice to you to get like your respect, and then like as soon as like, you know, like something happens, they just switch up just like a fucking potato chip, and then just like they're just mean as fuck? Yes, that's what she does. She got a little bit stressed and she decided to take it out on the whole staff except herself, because, you know, she doesn't do anything wrong. Even though when she was in the kitchen, I had food got taken back because it was cold, and I had another food got taken back that was supposed to be a vegan burger, and they gave them an actual burger with bacon and cheese on it. And you're like, "Oh, that's not a vegan burger," even though the ticket said vegan burger. But, you know, she doesn't do anything wrong. No, she's almost perfect.
After I left, one of my friends told me that she started to become nice. She threw a party right after I left. She brought food and drinks and all kinds of stuff. So now she actually wants to keep people and treat them well. Funny how that works. Funny how that works.
So let me tell you about the time, y'all, I was really beefing with a supervisor to the point. Yeah. So I recently just found out, maybe like a few months ago, what her actual problem with me was. I'm gonna tell you at the end of the story, but yeah. So it was a supervisor about 2 years ago who was in charge of administration. You know, they deal with the call outs, vacation time, and things of that sort. At the time, I kind of just didn't give a fuck about work. I was going through a lot. And yeah, it was just a lot happening with my life, so I was coming in late. But it wasn't even about me coming in late. That's the crazy thing. So she used to pay attention to the time that I come in. She thought I was actually stealing time. She thought I was signing in the time I'm actually supposed to come in and not the time I actually came in. And I don't play with that. Y'all already know that is something you can actually get fired for. I don't do that. So whatever time I'm coming in, I sign up for that time, and it always came on my check. If I'm 30 minutes, 45 minutes late, whatever the case is, they take it out of your check. Okay? These city jobs is not playing with nobody. They're going to get every nickel and penny back from you. So she used to give me dirty looks for whatever reason. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this lady? Not paying her no mind. Because she kind of was like that with everybody, though. I ain't even gonna lie. So I was never taking it personal. But another supervisor had told me, like, she always checked the time that I sign in. And I'm like, why me out of everybody? Like, I'm not the only person that comes in late. And it's coming out our check. Like, what is the problem? So the supervisor said out her mouth, "I don't know what you did. I don't know. She just really got something out for you." So I'm like, what? I never had a conversation with this lady. So I'm confused. Like, what is wrong with this lady? Still don't care. So I had got written up for something else that has nothing to do with me being late or nothing. So one day I come in late. Mind you, I'm not wrong and strong. As a supervisor, if you need to write me up for something that I did wrong, you can do that. Like, I'm not going to be tight. It is what it is. I know when you do something wrong, there are consequences. I'm not one of those employees or one of those people like, oh, well, do what you got to do. Do what you have to do. I know the consequences to things. I'm an adult. So I come in late one day. Another supervisor is like, "Oh, you got to go see such and such in the office." So I was like, "What she want to see me for?" And they was like, "They don't know." So she's like, "Just go." So first things first, I knock on the door. You know, you want to supervise the office, you want to knock on the door. You're not just going to open the door. So I knock on the door a few times. Nobody's answering. So then I kind of like, and I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" Sis don't say nothing. I hate when people do that. So I repeated it again, and she just looked up and was like, hey, you got written up for such and such. So it's a certain amount of time before your write-up expires, and it gave it to me past that time. So now I'm looking at the date, like, oh, okay, this doesn't even matter. So I start like smiling. I'm reading it, I'm like, look at the date. When I see the date, I'm like, oh, okay, this won't get thrown out. So I'm smiling. So she's like, what's funny? What's funny? So I'm like, I don't think I said anything. I just was like, so she's like, you get written up and you think that's funny? That's a problem with you. You come in here, whatever time you want. You trying to steal time. I said, whoa. I said, miss, you ain't never seen me steal time at all. Every time I come in this building, I sign in the time that I come, and it's coming on my check. Like, don't do that. Don't sit here and try to say I'm trying to, like, those allegations is crazy. And I'm like, I'm not even having this conversation with you because I'm looking at the time. Like, this lady, I think she waited for me. So she proceeds to be like, that's the problem with y'all. Y'all think y'all could do whatever y'all want. Y'all don't take these jobs serious. Y'all be living at home with y'all. Who you talking to? Who you talking to? So I asked her, now it's getting personal. I don't know what you talking about. Who you talking to? Who you talking to? That's what I asked her. She's like, I'm talking to you. So I'm laughing because like I like shit like this. I was like, you're not talking to me. You don't know nothing that's going on outside of this job with nothing I got going on. At the time, I'm going through a lot of shit too. So I was ready to just crank it on somebody. I didn't give a fuck, no consequences, no nothing, y'all. And that be my problem with people. Y'all don't know what people be going through. And I swear to God, at that time, like, it was so much going on in my life, I did not care. So I'm like, who you talking to? So now I'm going closer to her. I'm like, who you talking to? Like, so she's like, I'm talking to you. So she started doing this. I guess with us yelling, somebody else, another supervisor comes in the office and, like, grabs me. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm like, y'all gonna stop talking to people. I'm going crazy. Fast forward, they de-escalated that situation. She finally went home because this bitch was waiting for me, y'all. She was, and the other supervisor told me that later. Fast forward now. 2 months go by. I told y'all she's the administration captain. I need bereavement days because my aunt passed away. So you got to write for the bereavement days and stuff like that. So I did that, and I was waiting to get a reply. I didn't get a reply. So on my off day, I remember I called the office to find out did it get approved because the funeral was 2 days after my off day. And I'm not coming to work. Like, somebody in my family died. Like, I'm going to the funeral. So it was like a new lady in the office. I don't know who this lady was. So she was like, I'm going to find out. I'm going to call you back. And I'm like, please, because the funeral's in 2 days. Sis calls me back, y'all. This is a brand new lady that just started 1 month. I never even seen this lady. She don't know me from nowhere. She was like, what did you do to supervisor such and such? Because she was like, she's not giving you the days and she doesn't give a fuck who died. I said, I'm about to lose my job. So I said, she said, what? So she was like, please don't go back and said that I said, but she's like, let me call you back. She was like, let me have another talk with her. So I'm like, nah. EO'd that bitch. EO'd her. After that, the lady called me back. It got approved. And she was like, I'm just telling you this as a heads up. And she was like, I just wouldn't fuck with that lady. She was like, she has it out for you. She did not want to approve those days, but I got them approved. So now I'm tight. So now I feel like it's on go time when I see her. Because ain't no somebody in my family that my aunt passed away. You talking about you not fucking proving days? Nah. So fast forward. Now I know I got to be on my P's and Q's and come on time every time now. Because this bitch is watching me. So with that being said, from that day forward, I made sure I came on time. And I made sure she had no reason to call me to the office, no nothing. But the bitch used to fucking look at me every day. And I'm just, after I EO'd her, you know, other supervisors tell me, like, just leave it alone. Don't say nothing. Like, just leave that lady alone, stay far away from her. I'm like, okay. Every time I come in the building, like, she just staring. So one day, she tells another supervisor to ask me something. And I'm like, if it's coming out of her mouth, she better not ask me nothing. So the other supervisor looking like, and I'm like, yeah, don't ask me nothing. So she's like, they looking, she was like, what? I said, don't ask me nothing. I said, you know what you did? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, miss, you know what you did. I'm like, remember, God don't like ugly. So everybody looking confused. It's her. I'm like, God don't like ugly. Remember, I told you that. Whatever. Proceed. Go about my work day, whatever. But when I say God don't like ugly, that bitch got transferred. She absolutely did. And she had mad EOs, though. It wasn't just with me. I know she had, like, a personal problem because I basically cursed her out in the office. But comes to find out, recently, and this is 2.5 years ago, I just felt like a few months ago what the issue was. So I was close with this guy. We used to come in together, leave together, all of that. That was the bro. He quit or whatever. So she thought that I was his girlfriend. He exchanged words with her boyfriend, like, I don't even know how long ago. So and I didn't even put two and two together because before he quit, she used to have it out for him. But I wasn't paying it no mind. When he quit, she started gunning for me. Because she thought I was his shorty. And I wasn't. And the supervisor told me this. And that was the reason why she didn't like me originally. Because she thought I was this nigga's girl, and I was not. Like, so she just wanted to make my life a living hell because a guy that I was hanging out with exchanged words with her nigga, and she thought I was the girlfriend. That's why. These bitches is stupid.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.